Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Jim Chaney. He's from the Pro Football Hall of Fame Marathon coming up April 27th through 29th. You mentioned that a lot of people use 5Ks to raise funds. Are people using this event as their own personal fundraiser as well? Sponsor me, I'm running in this, and then that goes towards another charity? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so there's really two ways that fundraising and community charity partners sort of are woven into our event. The first, as you mentioned, is I might sort of be on an individual mission where I have a family member that I'm trying to raise money or awareness for cancer or Leukemia Lymphoma Society, those kinds of things. And certainly we see a number of those. What we're trying to do this year, which is a little different than something we've done in the past, is we have partnered with 3 specific charity partners. Mm-hmm. So with the marathon, for example, the 26.2-mile distance, that event is benefiting Habitat of Humanity of East Central Ohio. And so the folks that register for the marathon are sort of in the Habitat for Humanity family, meaning that we are marketing to them. We want them to participate as a volunteer for Habitat when they have volunteer needs. We want them to raise dollars for Habitat if that's something that they're comfortable in doing, and we want to raise the awareness of Habitat in our area. So it's sort of 3 pieces. That holds true with our other charity partners. So the half marathon is benefiting Meals on Wheels of Stark and Wayne counties. So in that instance, we're using the marathon to raise awareness of what Meals on Wheels is really all about.
Nice.
We are starting what's called Marathon Mondays, where our core of volunteers are now able to become Meals on Wheels volunteers because they've got a heavy volunteer need. So the marathon staff and our volunteers are running routes, delivering meals on Mondays. And
isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Very
so it's
cool.
the analogy, it's a marathon route. We might as well run a route. And so
very nice.
So that's a new relationship that has a lot of great promise. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, our 5-person team relay. This is where 5 people, you would run 3 miles, I would run 6, the next person would run 5, and together we complete 26.2 miles.
Now that's doable.
Yeah. We're partnering with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So it's really passing the baton is sort of the theme there. Big Brothers, Big Sisters is always looking for mentors. They reach pretty deep into folks that were Big Brothers, that were littles, they call them, when they were young. Now they're adults. Mm-hmm. So we're getting them involved. And again, it's creating awareness, number one, recruiting volunteers, and in Big Brothers, Big Sisters case, bigs. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, funds. And there's a lot of ways that we can reach out to our community for that.
This is just way more than just a marathon, isn't it? This has really become a real collaboration and a real community event.
It is. And, at the end of the day, we're a business, and I really try to treat our runners as customers. And so whether it's having community partners like the 3 that I mentioned, if it is providing services. So, for example, on race weekend, especially on Sunday, we provide childcare. So if mom and dad want to run on relay team, we partner with KinderCare, and we provide childcare at the race site. So it's just the little things that that will keep us sustainable over the years. Mm-hmm. And as I sort of started, there's tons and tons of running races everywhere. But what really differentiates us is not only the experience and the theme of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but it's very customer focused, very service oriented, to benefit the community.
Oh, yes. How did you select these particular community partners?
It was a bit of a trial and error, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. Habitat has been with us now 3, maybe 4 years, I think 3, where they were just a natural fit in building. They're all about building, and so they're sort of our housing partner. And our ultimate goal is that we have a marathon house. A house that is specific to that the marathon has, through volunteers and funds and things like that.
Very
raised.
Cool. Wow.
Sort of like our run, cheer, volunteer. We also have house, feed, and nurture the community as sort of our benefit line. So in following that train of thought, housing, habitat, feed, meals, nurture
Big brothers
youth, and
and
big
big
brothers, big sisters. Yeah.
So will these continue to be sort of partners, or you don't look for 3 new ones
No,
each
no,
year?
this is
it.
Yeah, I really want these
The
to be our
missions
long term.
fit.
They do, and they complement each other. There really isn't much overlap, and they're sort of vital to our area.
Absolutely. You've said a big part of this is the experience, not just the experience of volunteers and of those people who are neighbors that come out and share, but the people who are traveling across country to run here and perhaps seeing our area for the first time. What do you do? I can't begin to think of the number of logistics, those little things that you have to do so well. Take us through your brain that you have to go through to think of all those little tiny things, like childcare.
Yeah. Well, it's not really. How do I say this without getting in trouble with my coworkers? It's not as difficult as you might think, but to your point, there are so many details. And the easiest way to do this is to put yourself in the shoes of our customer or our runner. So if I was to travel out of town to an event, what do I need? Well, I need clear communications. I need to know. I have to assume nothing. I need to know where can I go to services, where I have a particular diet, where can I get that kind of food. I have certain needs, whether it's housing or transportation. How do I handle that? During the race, where are those points where I know I'm going to be tired, where I need assistance? So, for example, if you look at our race course, we will have water stations every single mile along the course.
Yes.
I don't know any other marathon that does that. They're usually about 2 or 3 miles apart. We will have bands and activity all along the course. Where we are different, because a lot of marathons do that, which is great. We are a football-themed marathon, so for the marathoner, when you get to mile 13.1, you run into the halftime show.
Oh, how great.
And so, cheerleaders and bands and the
Yes.
whole thing. So everything is sort of phrased around that. So you just sort of walk through what you would want for that experience, and then you start to build a project plan. It's like, okay, great. If we need this element, we need to start negotiating price. We need to start meeting with the council people on, hey, we're coming down your street and we're sorry that we're shutting down the road. What can we do to help? Can we pass out cowbells? Let's talk to the neighbors.
Yes, nice.
I go to a number of different wards, like open houses or town halls kind of thing. We use social media a lot to communicate our message out. So it's a lot. We've got a great volunteer crew that helps us, a staff. Well, it's a volunteer staff of about 14 that I work with them sort of one-on-one, and as we get closer to race weekend, they sort of take over the duties, everything from the finish line experience, the start line experience, the volunteers, the food, the expo, everything. Everything.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame does not lend its name to just anybody. So there would be, I would think, added pressure with excellence in everything as their motto, their MO.
Yeah, it's been interesting. They're a fabulous partner with us. They totally understand what we are trying to do. We're blessed in the sense that when we started this, David Baker hadn't arrived yet, and so I think it was his first month maybe is when we had our first race. And I thought, well, okay, this is one and done. He's going to come in and say, running, we want nothing to do with it. But in fact, he sort of tracked me down on race day, and I had never met him. And I'm a kind of a small runner guy, and David's a big guy. And I saw him coming towards me, and they said, hey, that's David Baker. I'm like, okay, great. And he sort of gave me this big bear hug and said, hey, what you got going on here is fantastic for what we are trying to do. All of the things that that go into our mission statement and all in the NFL with the traits runners are going through. So we see this as a fabulous partnership long term. And we've just been successful. They've been a huge advocate of what we're doing. I've got a great relationship with everyone there.
How about our roads? Will all those potholes be filled by April 27th? It's hard to drive around here, let alone run. How do you take care of that?
So there's two things to take care of. There's the physical roads, which, yes, everything will be just fine as it has been for the last 4 years.
Good.
And then there's the runner community of, oh my gosh, I just ran down here and there's 3 potholes, and it's like, I know they will be filled. It's the city actually does have a plan. They don't fill things too quickly because they will just pop right back open.
Right.
But we've got a really strong relationship with the city of Canton and police, fire, roads, parks, everyone, the mayor. And we go through a very comprehensive view of the course. We drive the course. I've got what are called zone managers that on race weekend and race day specifically, we break the course into these small little pockets, and they make sure that everything is great. They're driving the course at 3 a.m. before anything gets started. You know, if a tree branch didn't come down, if it did, we get it cleared, all those kinds of things. So it's all hands on deck community event.
It helps that you've been through it. It helps that you're a runner yourself, that you're familiar with everything. But I think we don't know what we don't know. And all these little logistics that you keep bringing up, like, oh my goodness, yes, a tree branch could have fallen over the night, and then what do you do?
Yeah.
So all those little things. How do you keep people safe? I know you hope and pray for the best, but you've got to prepare for the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. So we absolutely have emergency plans. It could be everything from thunderstorms. What do we do in the case of thunderstorms and lightning? Bad winds, things like that. To God forbid, man-made kind of circumstances and all that. Being partners with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, there are absolute standards that we follow. Heavy police presence. We've got a command center in Canton where it's off-site from the race course, but in there we've got police, sheriff, fire department, our staff that's monitoring the course on screens. We're very tight on barricades and things throughout the course. It's an open air event, so we can't prevent everything.
Right.
But we absolutely follow the same guidelines that the NFL and the Hall of Fame goes through during the enshrinement game.
How many marathons have you run?
I have completed 118.
No.
I'm getting ready to retire, actually.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
Boston, I'm running Boston this year. Again, that'll be 119. And then this coming fall, I'm running the Columbus Marathon. That'll be my 120th marathon, and I'm ending my marathoning days. I'm still going to run.
Yes.
But I'm going to stop competing.
But not 26 miles at a time.
Yeah. So I'm almost done.
What's your favorite one?
Honestly, the Twin Cities Marathon in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I lived there for a short period of time, so that has something to do with it, but it's really pretty and incredible community support. I mean, everybody comes out.
Nice.
And, I've run from New York to L.A. and everywhere, and my hope is that with the Pro Football Hall of Fame Marathon, we can bring that big city feel to Canton, Ohio.
Very cool. It's going to happen. Go to hofmarathon.com to find out more. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame Marathon happening April 27th through 29th. There's a 5K in there on Saturday we can all participate in. Jim Chaney, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you. I appreciate it.